Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host for the most, Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs to recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So, light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection: Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Puppetmaster. Let's face it, Katara, you're a bloodbender. All right, Dragon. So we've been obviously, like, 2020 has been kind of a banner year with Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't think I've ever seen a show get on Netflix and attract so many people to it. An old show, no less. But Dragon, this is a classic. I mean, this is a classic Halloween episode. I'm sure we've probably come close to doing this one before. Just kind of like in our lineup. But I'm glad we waited for it this year because, of course, of all the Avatar talk going on, all the hype surrounding it. I mean, what more needs to be said about this thing? It's iconic. It really is just like a. I mean, it gives the Hey Arnold specials a run for their money in terms of like the most iconic Halloween special that Nickelodeon's ever done. But of course, this isn't really a traditional Halloween episode by any stretch. But man, it is a good ghost story. It's a great kind of spooky urban legend tale with a lot of atmosphere, a lot of terrifying imagery. Um, and you also get a good slice of each of the four main Team Avatar players in it. So it's a good kind of standalone episode to kind of like get. Like, I could imagine showing this to someone who's not familiar with the show and having them kind of grasp onto the characters just based on how they're presented here. Because I feel like Aang might be the one with the least screen time, but I feel like you
Yeah, they're
definitely
going to
get
have a
a
lot of questions about Aang if they watch this and they go back to the beginning. Wait, what did I miss? What the? What happened
okay.
here?
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. But I'm saying it's a great showcase for Sokka, Toph, and Katara. Like, I feel like it's a great standalone episode for all three of them. You really know what all three of them are about in this episode. So, yeah, classic episode, classic dark imagery. Just it's one of the. I feel like this is one of the most modern examples we can point to of just something that is really just an iconic Halloween episode.
Oh yeah, I mean, just looking at the episode itself, I mean, it's. I remember just when Avatar was, way back during Avatar's heyday, like when season three was like, if not premiering or like halfway through or something along
Uh
those lines.
huh.
Won't be a minute. When season three was, well, let me rephrase that. I guess season three was done at this point, but still, I found some Avatar fans amongst my group of friends, and we would talk endlessly about the possibility of like the dark and lethal capabilities of bending, which so apropos. I mean, we eventually got to see in in both Avatar season three and Korra season three the lethal capabilities of both water bending and air bending.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, which is really trippy. I mean the best way to get some of this episode's very much. Tell me if you had this too. It feels like it's kind of Miyazaki meets Lovecraft, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Those two things totally. I mean, it's just got such a tone to it, Dragon. It's got such a distinct vibe to it.
That it does, and again, like it's a huge, again, it's a dark episode because it's about a very dark, kind of subject and kind of idea within the Avatar universe that definitely, again, has some stay power. But yeah, it's again, it was just kind of. I remember this thing airing around Halloween way back when,
Oh, I'm
so it was
sure it
kind of
did. Yeah.
very apropos. So it was. It's very creepy, like to quote Mr. Wynn from here, like very
Very
creepy. It's like the
creepy.
best way
Very
to do it.
creepy.
Very creepy. It is.
Oh God, Dragon! They should have used Mr. Wynn to like advertise Halloween.
They should
We are
have.
going to watch some very creepy episodes.
Very creepy. All right.
All right. Anyways.
Without further ado, let's start talking the Puppetmaster.
Oh man. All right. This thing's great. All right. Let's see. So
Well, we start off with the full moon. Very again, a little full
yeah,
circle. Little. We start off with the full moon. We see Team Avatar. What are they doing?
they're telling ghost stories.
By
Oh,
a
oh my
campfire.
God, Dragon. There's so much economic storytelling just in these opening moments. Just because you see the field of fire lilies, you see the mountain, you see we see Toph hearing people screaming under the mountain. I mean, just in these first couple minutes, we already set up so much about the mystery and so much about the imagery of the episode.
And I love the whole Act 1, Act 3 kind of setup and payoff. Like, we're in the woods, and of course we return to the woods with the meeting and the departure of our new
Totally,
character, which is really very fitting. So they're telling ghost stories by the campfire in the woods, which is never a good setting for these sorts of things, kids. So Sokka's telling some scary stories, kind of at the end about the haunted blade of Wing Fun. Oh, I love this. This really cracks me for the rewatch. Completely forgot about this. Jack DeSena as Sokka. He does this really. He does the operatic kind of chorus within his
yes,
big
yes,
scare.
yes.
Which is
Oh God.
priceless. So let's see. So Aang preferred the man with the sword for a hand better. Toph is just really unimpressed. Like, oh man, Water Tribe slumber parties must stink. So then it's Katara's turn.
So Katara, she spins a ghost story about oh God, Dragon, I'm sorry, I don't quite have the details of the story right.
Nini.
Essentially, yeah, so essentially she you tell it, I'm sorry. I don't have the details of this down.
Okay, so Katara that has returned for the story. She's telling a true Southern Water Tribe story. That is not, it's not a story of a guy who knew a guy whose cousin, sort of thing, knew some guy who was right from Katara's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, point being, Katara's mother had a friend. Well, as a kid, had a friend named Nini who disappeared in a snowstorm, and there was just like this fire going inside her hut, inside her house, and basically, smoke would come up from the chimney, but there was no sign of her. She disappeared. Then their mother was there, and she heard, as again the wonderful Mae Whitman does here, as she says, "It's so cold, I just can't get warm."
Oh, that's creepy. That's really creepy.
Only Mae Whitman can do it like that. Yes. Again, folks, there's a banner line. Very creepy. So. Anyway, so basically she turns to see like a frozen blue Nini who's saying this is like a ghost, and then she was like, she went. Mom called for help, came back, no one was there, but the smoke keeps coming from the chimney sometimes. Ooh, very creepy. So as they're all
Dragon, I like how this is kind of setting the stage for kind of like darker sides of the Southern Water Tribe. You know what I mean?
It does. And of course, Southern Water Tribe. I love this episode kind of tease up like another really dark episode with the Water Tribe with the Southern Raiders, which is really
cool. Oh, big time. This and Southern Raiders.
One of my favorites.
This and Southern Raiders are definitely kind of like sibling episodes to each other, I think.
Very much the Chill of the Night episode for Batman. Beware the Batman comparisons here. It's very much like the light show, but they have that one really dark episode.
Right.
Anyway, so I love this running gag. I don't know if you noticed this. There's this really funny running gag, and they overplay the horror reactions. Where basically, anytime someone has like a really quick and loud declaration, that they all get really scared. So Toph is like, "Wait a minute! Like there's someone screaming. I hear people screaming into the mountains."
Mm-hmm. And of course, Dragon, I love how this kind of subverts our expectations because, like, we know Toph is a jokester. We know she has a hard time fitting in. We know that. So basically, honestly, even watching this now, because I completely forgot about all the people trapped under the mountain, I was just kind of assuming that it was Toph, just kind of like trying to fit in and trying to come up with a ghost story, but kind of just not having a lot of detail to it, which is what you really need for a good ghost story. So It's cool how this plays because you really can't tell if she's actually telling the truth about it or not.
True. Anyway, so then they're saying, Sokka's onto it, like, oh, you're trying to scare us, aren't you? Says, no, seriously, I hear people screaming under the mountain. Oh, it's Toph, you're probably just a little jumpy from the story. And of course, then it stops, so Toph can't really further explore the matter, which is really eerie. Like, oh god, Toph playing it straight for a change. We ordinarily should be like a joke, and we'd all laugh it off, and then it just stops. And of course, the moment it stops, who shows up?
Hama.
Hama the Innkeeper, played by the wonderful Tress MacNeille, and as Monkey has pointed out in the comments, fun little synergy. Again, a Nickelodeon show, kind of Halloweeny, if you will. Tress MacNeille also plays Arnold's grandmother, Pookie, or Gertie, depending on your preference.
Congratulations, Phoebe. You're a bloodbender.
That's from the cheating That's a paraphrase of the cheating contest episode. That's English poet, I think it was like Emily Browning or something like.
No, it was. Who was it? It was. I don't remember.
This one was like Emily something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Emily something. Emily Dickinson.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, so our little aside here. Anyway, so Hama the Innkeeper.
That's another kind of like, if we run out of creepy Hey Arnold episodes, which we are going to, that'd be a contender, honestly.
Maybe it's psychological, but then again, I don't know. We'll see. Depends how desperate we get. All right. So Hama the Innkeeper, voiced by the wonderful Tress MacNeille. And of course, Tress MacNeille, legend in the voice acting community. Of course, I think best known for Dot from the Animaniacs. She is there's tons of voices on Futurama. Of course, Mom. There's an interesting portrait there for you. So the point being, she really gets to play it up here as both kindly and then later very, very menacing.
Oh yeah.
Basically, this kindly innkeeper kind of stumbles into the woods and says, "Hey, how about some spiced tea and some warm beds to keep you kids safe? Shouldn't be out here in the woods. It's creepy." And of course, it's a great foreshadow. Why is she out in the woods all of a sudden? And why did the screaming stop? It's like really good clues, clues.
Oh yeah. All
right, so Sokka's like, "Yes, please." So they're going into an inn. Which, by the way, I just want to say, I don't know if you felt this way. The inn looked really nice, didn't it?
Okay, the inn is maybe one of the things that you were picking up on that has a Miyazaki vibe to it, just because of all the little details in the background.
Yeah, it's got details. I mean, also Hama very, very Miyazaki-esque too.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Very Spirited Away-ish, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, seriously, Sokka's room is really awesome later on. It looks really nice. I just couldn't get over on the realize, like, man, look how spacious that room is. Got a giant bed.
I hear you.
She runs I know she's doing horrible
Universal, stuff. I'm telling you, Universal needs to get on using the Avatar IP in their parks, and
they do.
This would be a great hotel, man.
Yep, they do.
Great, like, intimate hotel.
All right, let's see. So, the point is, they're gathered around inside the inn, I believe, getting ready for the points are in the end. They're talking about people have been disappearing in the woods when the moon turns full. Of course, it's not Halloween. They had a little bit of Halloween there. When the moon turns full, that's always kind of an indicator, a little Wolfman-esque. People come in.
When the moon turns full, people walk in, but they don't come out.
Exactly. More tea, and again, I love the non sequitur.
That's a great cut. That's a great kind of like cue of like, you know, she's in it. She's acting her role.
And again, there's the tone. We're setting up. There's something I can't place my finger on it. There's something off with this lady. You can feel it in your bones. Like there's
another thing, Dragon. Another thing that kind of like plays with our expectations is that this show is like ripe with wacky villagers. You know what I mean? So honestly, at that cut, at first glance, it's kind of just like, oh, she kind of like flips back and forth between serious and motherly, and it's kind of a wacky character trait. So, kind of like, oh god, Dragon, remind me that guy who was playing all three of the brothers.
A little vague, Tiki, a little vague.
He was the one guy who was like, he was in the town, and he was like the split personality, where he was like,
oh right. Oh, I know. You're talking about like Shu and Doc and the
yeah.
Okay, so the painted, you're talking about the painted lady episode is what you're referring to.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Another kind of urban legend episode.
But again, it's also a good foreshadow for like the big red herring with the spirits of the episode, because we saw this episode already with the painted lady. We can't double down on that again, and we don't. That's awesome.
But you know what I'm talking about, though? Like,
Yeah.
Doc and Shu are like perfect examples of like, like just these colorful, like
And Bushi.
wacky Avatar villagers.
That's the third one.
Uh-huh.
Shu,
Right,
and
right,
Bushi.
right. All right. Anyways.
Okay, anyway, so yes, but yeah, we're setting up like there's something foreboding about this lady and everything. She is okay, she's serving the tea. Sokka, it's later at night, he's too scared. He is remarking to Momo, like, "Oh, I'm too scared to sleep." And of course, he's drooling on the pillow in a really nice room. I'm just saying. So he wakes up. It's time to go shopping, and we have this really interesting turn transition where Sokka's
It's a great
like
transition, yeah.
spun around to being kind of like dragged to the marketplace and to help him with some shopping and carry the groceries for the nice innkeeper who I don't believe was not charging, which again seemingly really nice innkeeper. Then again, so was Norman Bates. Just saying.
God.
Okay, so Guitar and Hama, they're bonding. They're becoming
Oh, that Mr.
BFFs.
Yao seems to have a thing for you. We should go back and ask for more smoked sausages.
Komodo sausages.
Katara. What?
Komodo sausages.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Komodo sausages. That sounds delicious. But but she's just like Hama's just like, Katara, you would suggest that I use my feminine wiles to take advantage of that poor old man? You and I are going to get along just fine.
You know what's cool on the rewatch? He said we're going to get along just swimmingly, and there's a little bit. Obviously, there's a foreshadow with Act 3, but also the swimmingly choice of words makes me, hey, I'm a waterbender. I'm not telling you.
Yeah, right.
Could just be a just rather common choice of words, but I don't know. I'm just saying, like we're going to get along splendidly for Act 3, but again, swimmingly. What a tribe!
All right, what a tribe!
What a tribe!
Okay, so then we see. I love this kind of like quick exposition we get to kind of flesh out the mystery here, where we have
vendor.
this guy asking about ash bananas, and the shopkeeper's like, "Well, I have to send the boy to the island to get them, and it's a 2-day trip." And then the guy's instantly just like, "Oh, full moon."
I love that moment so much. I love this. Oh yeah, I forgot because I love the foreboding tone of like, okay, if the customer is understanding, you have a
right.
problem.
Exactly,
like, oh, no.
exactly.
But yeah, something really bad's been going down here. Basically, with a moon full and a 2-day trip, I can't risk losing another delivery boy, which again, very creepy. So Sokka thinks it's a spirit world running some shenanigans again, but we already did that, Sokka. We already did that with Painted Lady. We can't do that again. So anyway, so basically he's buying into the red herring episode plot. That is, it's like to avoid spoilers. They give the animated Avatar characters like the wrong script. It's like how they do the Avengers or Star Wars. You give them the wrong script. Anyway, so basically he thinks, oh yeah, Aang's going to sort out some spirit world shenanigans and he'll sew up this mystery Avatar style. And then we have this great line, just kind of like a little. It's like a mini fist pump moment for me with Aang. It's like helping people. That's what I do. Darn right he does.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dragon, that like there is a lot of question marks with Aang in this episode if you just watch it out of context, but helping people, it's what I do. That's like Aang's character in a statement. You know what I mean? So even Aang does have like you kind of get what this kid's all about, even if he's got the least amount of screen time this episode.
Well, again, we at least get something with him in that regard. Sure.
Uh-huh.
All right, so this point being, we've set up our red herring spirit quest. Meanwhile, so
Spirit Quest 2020.
Sure. So anyway, so we excuse. Basically, Hama excuses the kids while she runs some errands solo.
I was gonna make a joke about the Squid's Day Off running the errands thing, but I couldn't. I couldn't think of a good transition, so we'll just leave it at that.
That's where we're at on that. Okay. So then, of course, now before she goes, Sokka remarks, "It's a mysterious town you have here. What's the money line?
Mysterious town for mysterious children."
And of course, we have all these. This episode's so well directed because we have these really creepy close-ups on Hama all the time, and it just freaks me out.
Right.
It's just Hama's design because every time they push in on Hama, she looks creepier every time. If you really look. Okay, so let's see. Sokka, he's suspicious and he's hung up on the whole mysterious children, like we, the audience, are. Again, because Sokka's smart. Again, at least he's become smart since those first couple episodes, way back when. So Katara, she's reminding she's reminding him, well, yeah, she found 4 strange kids in the woods at night. I wonder why else she would say that.
Right.
And also, we had a really nice little character line here. She says, reminds me a little bit of Gran, which again connects a little bit of a parallel there, which, is kind of Katara. She can't take Gran with her, little ties to the Southern Water Tribe. And again, little does she know, she feels kind of a bond with this lady. And it's going to be a bad bond, but not so far so good.
All right, so Sokka, he does some sleuthing, Dragon. He just snoops the hell around.
Yep, regular old Snoopy, that Sokka Water Tribe. So Sokka here, he's looking for clues. As Katara's just chastising him again. You'll notice though, Katara's not like stop.
This is like motherly Katara when motherly Katara is fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Say no. Just like we shouldn't do this. What are you doing, Sokka? Like a woman's possessions here. And of course, then what's the first thing they uncover?
Just a whole fucking closet full of creepy marionettes.
We never really. Here's the thing. It's just the creepy detail. We never really.
We never know what she's doing with the puppets. Yeah, I love that. It's just a mystery that kind of lingers in the air. Yeah.
The reason we have it in there is to connect the whole Puppetmaster title.
Yeah.
But also, you'll notice though, those puppets do look like her victims. There is a question: is she carving the puppets after she has?
Oh God.
What's the?
That's one of the things I love about the episode, Dragon. The episode does. It does spell things out, especially at the end, but there are those little details that get left unexplained.
Yeah. Also, we should mention we had Claude. Well, I think we showed Connor, but you have a Claudia in the comments too.
Claudia, a wild Claude Karinga appeared.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Sokka, he's snooping up the place. Again, it's not Halloween without little Snoopy. So, it was like Katara's trying to write up. Oh, she has hobbies. So what? So she's got hobbies. A puppet loving innkeeper, huh? I don't think so, Katara. So he goes up to this locked door in the attic, and of course, says, "Why would she have this locked door in the attic? Oh, I don't know. To keep snoopers out, to keep people from snooping around. Maybe you get the point Katara has here. So we have this keyhole shot. And inside the keyhole is a little chest. So, of course, Toph's thinking, you think it's treasure? That's typical Toph for you. Like, she's always about the adventure and like, oh boy, we get, again, kind of the runaway in her. Treasure! Now they're all excited. It's like the Goonies all of a sudden. Oh boy, treasure! So open the door and Toph is using her little space bracelet, which is, I love when she uses the space bracelet. That's
cool. That's a really cool use of the metal bending right there.
Yeah, using that meteor kind of the meteor bracelet thing. So she's using it to pick the lock. Aang's unsure about things, and it gets unlocked, and we have 4 kids, like full-on Goonies. Then Hama returns, and we have I love the shot of shame between all of them as Sokka presents it to her. Like, I'll tell you what's in the box. Like, oh man, we're caught. So then we have this really great reveal shot. It's like, oh god, what is she gonna pull out? Things like a severed head or something. Oh god, what's she pulling out? What? You're on, man.
What?
You're on. It's your moment.
She pulled out a comb.
Oh, Tiki, if this were any time for a 7 reference.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm sorry. God.
What's it? Oh, it's now I don't even feel like it anyway. So, all right,
Dragon, come on. All right, I'm sorry.
This was like the moment of all the inappropriate time. This was the appropriate time.
Oh God! All right.
Anyway,
whatever. I'm sorry.
Inside the box.
You expect too much of me, Dragon.
I expect very simple from you, actually. The one gag you make all the time to happen this time. But anyway. So the box is opened, and inside, what is inside the box?
Well, it's a comb. I already said that.
All right, but not just any comb.
No,
the comb is boring. This is a special comb. It's a Southern Water Tribe comb.
And then, of course, big reveal. She is from the Southern Water Tribe, and of course, this is going to quickly bond Katara to her.
What a tribe. So, never gets old. All right. So, basically, she already snuffed out that they were Water Tribe. She overheard them at the campfire. And Team Avatar, they really gotta tone down how loud they convey their stories and everything, and maybe do a little quick surveillance.
Seems like it leads to at least half the plots of the episodes.
Pretty much. Anyway, so they know, she knows that they're Water Tribe, and she wanted to surprise him with a special Water Tribe themed dinner, which again is possibly why she snuck off to do those errands. But then again, we don't know. We don't know. All right. So yeah, and she mentions like she's been improvising for some Water Tribe ingredients, like sea cucumbers, the ocean kumquats or something. Ocean kumquats can be used here for sea prunes, Arctic sea prunes, or whatever they're called. Which is Aang is having horrific PTSD dinner flashbacks to that Bato of the Water Tribe episode. It's like, oh god, those horrible Arctic sea prunes. I hate that stuff. So they're bonding, and Katara's like, I knew it. The Katara was right, and I was right. She was keeping a secret, and of course, then he legit apologizes. So they're off to have Water Tribe dinner, and of course, Monkey's gonna want us to bring this up. Aang's feeding Appa, I believe, a cabbage or something, and Momo he swipes the cabbage because he's Momo and does stuff.
All right. So let's see. So we're explaining Hama's past. How Katara's never met another waterbender from the Southern Water Tribe. That's because the Fire Nation wiped them all out. I was the last one.
I love that as an idea with her character. Like she was the last one. She was the last holdout.
Another last bender dragon.
True. Yeah.
All right, so this starts one of the big, the big flashback of the episode, and Dragon, I gotta say, one of the scariest just motifs of the whole show for me. Just the thing that really sticks with me, and just really, it's scary every time it comes up because I feel like it's so like real world. It's like real world horror, and that's the appearance of the ash in the Water Tribe whenever the Fire Nation shows up.
I love it. We've done it 3 times, but my God, when we do it, it's like it's such a great anyway, so yes,
it's just like shit's about to go down, and I love how it's like it just feels like such a real world detail of the horrors of war. You know what I mean?
It is. So, of course, we have 2 major flashbacks, and this is the first one where she was stolen from her home 60 years ago when the raid started. So this is when the raid started. Now, here's what's really cool about this. Think about it. It's been a 100-year war in Avatar. Before Aang comes out of it, 100 years have gone by. This is it's like 40 years into it, roughly. So the idea is that the Fire Nation, like how they kind of amassed so much power is, think about it, they started with the Earth Kingdom like before before the war started. So they were kind of already taking over Ba Sing Se and everything. Let me rephrase it. They were taking over the colonies. And then the minute Roku died, they wiped out the Air Nation. And now they've moved on to the Water Tribe. So basically, they have like a monopoly on all the power of the 3 nations by this point by doing these raids, by getting rid of the waterbenders. So there's only Water Tribe guys with spears coming after.
Sure.
Really, again, it's horrifically brilliant in a sense. It's like, man, they got it. All right. So we have the familiar ashy snow coming down there. The soldiers attack. They're capturing benders. Then here's the thing that scares me. My favorite detail in all this. They kept coming back again and again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like you just pointed out, like this is like 40 years into the 100-year war, and it's just like, and that's the detail that always gets to me with the ash and the snow dragon is that it's just something that's almost kind of like a common part of life for the Water Tribe people.
Yeah, but again, I love the fact that, the waterbenders' numbers are dwindling, and that's like hearing that from Hama's perspective, and then our numbers kept shrinking, and you actually, fun fact, you get to see him capture the ship from the pilot. Remember, there's a ship that Aang and Katara set off that kind of brings Zuko to him. You see him catch that ship in the flashback. So really, really good stuff there. And it's so tragic, and I feel so much pity for Ham, which makes later really interesting. Is that she has to surrender because she's completely circled and outnumbered by the raiders, and she's been captured. And we have this shot, which I'm convinced is a young Gran. By the way, I can't prove it, but I think I heard it once that this was her, and it looks like her. The last face that she sees is someone who looks identical to Katara. I'm pretty sure that's young Gran.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So then she mentioned she was taken to a Fire Nation prison, and she was the only one to escape. And Sokka has really legit questions like how and why. But then Hama, a little bit of truth, but a lot of manipulation here. It's too painful to talk about anymore. She doesn't want to. She's deflecting, but you buy it.
Oh yeah.
And Katara's bringing up what happened to their mother, and it's like, oh, you poor dear. And they're the thickest thieves now, man. There ain't nothing tearing this bond apart.
That's one of the scarier things about this episode, where it's like for all the creepy imagery and implications, one of the creepiest things about this episode is just how real world manipulative Hama is.
Oh yeah. So they're basically Hama offers to teach Katara her water bending technique to keep the tradition going, keep the Southern Water Tribe water bending tradition going.
Mm-hmm. And Katara could not be more thrilled.
Yeah. And of course, you have the smile on Hama, which again, there's like a little twinge of a plan.
Oh yeah,
at least an idea for a plan. I love you can kind of say it's like all happy-go-lucky, but still, there's a twinge of something there. There's a twinge. All right, so Hama, I love how Hama disseminates her lessons by. She's giving like a history lesson during a walk and talk. I love that kind of style there. It's very guru-esque, like Aang and the Guru when he's teaching them. So basically, the South Pole has ice and snow. I'm sorry, would you like to take over some of the teaching stuff?
Let's see. Sorry. No, go ahead. I can chime in later.
Right. So basically, the idea is like your surroundings are important. So the South Pole has a lot of ice and snow, therefore it's a waterbender's paradise.
Mm-hmm.
But around here in the Fire Nation, especially, not the case. But
and
if you think of that
firsthand through the series,
exactly, and I love how we cite these wonderfully in conversation. You're like, I was helpless in the desert, which we saw way back in season 2. Oh god, yeah, very little water except cactus juice, which little
so
dicey.
Here comes the first blatantly creepy shot of the episode, I think, which is Hama conjuring the water out of thin air, and then there's water in places you never think about as the water freezes over her fingertips, and we see a freeze frame, and it's a very malicious face.
Yep, and then of course she does that powerful strike as she throws all the little ice fingers at the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. I love that it's an evolution.
But then
in building.
Katara is just she's not even at this point in the episode, Dragon. I feel like we are ahead of Katara. You know what I mean? We at that point we realize oh, okay, there's something going on here. We can't quite place what yet, but
don't go into the candy house, Katara. Run, run. But that's the thing. I love it. But yeah, seriously, I love it. This is an evolution of as she mentions, I use my own sweat to get out of a prison cell. So again, this is really clever how it's an evolution of the water bending. This is the thing I would talk about with my friends all the time. Imagine if we just took it a step further. But I love it. Yeah, I didn't think about it. There's water in the air, and there's water in other places, which of course leads to the logical image. But again, I love that Hama's building that within her logic. So she's it's you see the manipulation in place where she's selling Katara you can get water out of thin air. How handy is that? Imagine where else you could get it.
Right.
She's just falling for it, man. So she demonstrates with the fingers. So again, she's planting the seeds of destruction. Meanwhile, let's see. Toph is asking, "Hey, maybe the moon spirit has turned mean." Now, what is Sokka's
I totally forgot about this bit, Dragon. In this case, just Sokka's just the moon spirit is a very nice lady, and she's full of lunar goodness. I know I'm not quoting that line for line, but
oh god, she rules the sky with compassion and lunar goodness. Because of course, I always love the cutesy everything. Even though let's face it, UA compared the Suki. I mean, there's no contest. Suki wins, but by the same token, I really like UA, and I really like the whole Sokka has a soft spot for her because she lost her. I love that too. So every time we mention UA in passing, I love how Sokka's during the Avatar plays. So you didn't tell me you made out the moon spirit. He's shh, I'm watching. It's just it's adorable. All right. So, let's see. The point being, they get a lead. They get a lead within. Aang gets a lead because Aang's doing stuff. It's his show after all. Got to give him a few things to do. Aang he interviews us. He learns about the survivor who was Old Man Ding. Old Man Ding.
That's such a great name.
Oh, we're gonna get the Old Man Ding. There's gonna be a lot of Scooby Doo shenanigans. We're gonna get there. Okay, so we're in the Fire Lily field. Now, this was something really caught me on the rewatch on this, Tiki, is that the Fire Lily field has this really creepy moment with Hama.
Oh yeah, totally.
I know there's a lot of them, but I mean, in this case, like she's talking about the beauty of the fire lilies, and then she just kind of has this turn where she's like this uneasy turn of like, oh, they're just flowers, Katara.
No, it's like we literally see the death and destruction that Hama's abilities cause just to the fire lilies.
Yeah. And again, this is like an evolution of the swamp bending idea. We bend the water in the thing instead. We're draining the life from the flowers, which is just hard. We visualize like the whole dead black circle in the field of
Yeah.
fire lilies. Oh god! And of course, it kind of mirrors the moon a little bit, little circular. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it. I don't know. Of course, when you're a stranger in a strange land, you do what it takes to survive. We're kind of planting a big flag there. Like, oh boy, she's again, she went through some stuff, man. That's going to change a person.
Right.
All right. So, anyways, so the big plan. Like tonight, we're going to complete the training when the full moon's out. Isn't that going to be dangerous? All the disappearances. Ask Katara. This is where we, the audience, are obviously ahead of her at this point. Where two master benders under a full moon. What's the worry? I mean, come on.
Oh man. Oh boy. Oh god. Oh, this episode's so good. All right.
Really good day-night cycle, by the way, because again,
it is. Yeah.
Now it's nighttime, and we're meeting Old Man Ding.
Old Man Ding. Why do people keep calling me that? I'm not that old.
He can't lift the board. It's like, well, I'm young at heart. I love this. I love Aang and Sokka assisting him and like boarding up his house too. Like they're helping him doing like they give him something to do. It's not just like a standing around conversation. We're doing stuff. So what do we learn from Old Man Ding? Roundabout way.
Let's see. Essentially, we learned that this is where we learn about the witch, right? No.
Well, this is where we learned that there was no spirit. At this point, there's no spirit. He was possessed. Yeah, he was walking on his own. He was compelled to walk on his own. Again, very questionable how the heck that works. We're going to find out horribly. And he was a goner until the sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
We have organ music, by the way, little Pluto connectivity.
Oh yeah,
really creepy organ music playing. And then, here's what we're talking. This is the gag that cracks me up. So then Toph saying, "Oh no!" And then they're all like, "Oh god, what?" In the animation, the voices I heard, it's in the mountain he's talking about. So they're missing villagers, and they're still there.
Dragon, I got to admit, that's a very disquieting idea. The fact that from the very beginning of the episode, Toph has been hearing the screams of the villain's victims.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so Team Avatar is going to save him. Meanwhile, Katara's final lesson is taking place under the full moon.
And this is such a great Act 3. It's a wonderful kind of like cutting between the two sides where, the tension just builds and builds. All right.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. There's this really creepy detail with Hama when she's doing the bending.
Oh my god, the fucking veins. Yeah, it's that's the creepy checklist, Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not just the veins. I mean, the veins that's obviously creepy, and that's there. But I mean, if you think about it, when the full moon's out, she gets powerful. And she goes like the old lady hunch to like she's standing upright, and then the veins. Like that's the thing that gets like the standing upright.
Right. Yeah.
So, you gotta remember, she's roughly like at least in her 70s or something. She's up there, man.
No, I would say she's like at least in her
80s. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
A young woman when she got captured.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it was like 20 or 8. Again, the Avatar thing, they're all like 16, so it's kind of hard to tell. But you're right. Anyway,
like seriously, I don't mean to. I don't mean to dwell on this, but Azula looks like she's at least 20.
And wait, is she the? Yeah, she's the oldest.
She's 16, Dragon.
No, I know that. I'm trying to think which one's older, Zuko or Azula. I can't remember.
I think Azula's older.
Yeah, because she has like a Zulon as the descendant. Okay, I think you're right. Okay, point B, you're right. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, yeah, she's 16. I think Zuko's 15. Maybe that's. All right. So, anyways, have the creepy Hama shots again. The more we push in, I've never felt more alive. Meanwhile, Toph is leading the way in the dark, saying, "This is why you have me. Like we can't see in there. That's why I got me. Like, yeah, there's Toph for you." So she's finding and saving the villagers as Toph is one to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is where they have the big witch moment, Tiki.
Yeah. So, they're basically asking the prisoners, what the spirit who took them looked like, and it's like, spirit? It isn't any spirit. It's an old woman who acts all kindly until she turns on you. Not paraphrasing, but
I love the woman who gets to do the exposition. That's Andrea Romano. That's the voice director extraordinaire. She's the one saying it's a witch and like all the lines.
And then of course that leads to a writer's
Hama.
favorite.
Yep. Basically, it's Sokka's big Fred from Scooby Doo moment, like Hama.
Right.
You know, like we've unmasked them. We had the old man Jenkins figure earlier, the old man thing. Now we have Hama. I knew there was something creepy about her, one could say. Very creepy about her, and of course, we gotta save Katara. Meanwhile, now we're getting the other flashback, because Hama's like preparing to teach, basically segueing into what exactly they're doing out there in the middle of the night. So we have the flashback and origin of bloodbending. Oh boy, is that a creepy one.
Alright, so essentially she's in the prison, very harsh conditions, they blow dry air low to the ground. The water, this is such a creepy detail in its own right. The fact that they're force-fed water and they have to get tied up just to receive the water so they don't bend. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a horrific prison, Dragon.
The dry air and the fact they would suspend the cell, that's the creepy detail for me. It's like, oh god, just like the dry air, that takes some like forethought, man. They gotta... So suppose they give them like a little snippet of water, nothing to escape, right?
And then, so she starts realizing how to control her bending, and oh god, just the way she describes the rats. You know what I mean? Just like sacks of water waiting to be controlled.
Yep. So basically, it's the idea she kind of went crazy in the prison, thinking about dehumanizing everything. Just like it's like a little sack full of liquid I can bend. So like years pass. All that was like years. It took years to really. Cause again, she's doing like what Toph did with the metal bending here. She's creating a new form of bending. You know, it's like years pass as she developed the skill, blood bending.
Blood bending. I love the transition from the young woman to the old woman with the exact same pose and face.
Yeah, it's great. So then it's water in another body. It's your will over theirs. It's and then we see a line of these like a chorus line of rats, like the blood bended Rockettes, if you will. So and anyways, and then she upgraded she upgraded this to the guard. Mind you, so this escalates to doing it on the guard, making it like whenever we do the blood bending, you hear like the squishing noise and the contorting noise. That's the creepy part too. Like, oh god, like the involuntary and the reactions. Is blood bending as a concept? Again, it was always talked about. Yeah, well, if you can bend water, I mean, how deep can you take that? Of course, they went for it, man. They did not skip on it.
The sound design has absolutely always been the most unsettling part of blood bending, whether in this or in Legend of Korra, I think.
It points to, I think it was Ben Wynn or Jeremy Zucker and Ben Wynn. They're the guys behind the score and the sound design. So those guys, they delivered. All right. So, so the guard kind of leads to the escape. You'll notice, and this is the thing I call in the rewatch, you'll notice she didn't free the others. I'm just saying, these are the haunting details about Hama. She's like all about her own escape there. And again, she's saying these things, and she's trying to be justified by the same token. You know, she's just saved herself there. Just saying. Okay, so once you've perfected, you can control anything, anyone, and Katara, like us, the audience, I think we'd have some reservations because this is too much power, and it's really creepy too. That they add to it.
Oh man! And then, so Katara, she voices her, her reservations. It's not your choice, Katara. The power exists within you. They tried to wipe us out, our entire culture. Your mother.
If we have to fight these people by any means necessary. So, real quick, I want to note that, again, this is really interesting. This is like Katara's version of the Avatar state choice from Season 2, where Aang, at the start of Season 2, is like, I don't want to have to, be really upset and angry, use the Avatar state. I don't have to imagine my friends being almost dead to do that sort of thing. Sure. And Katara's kind of having, she doesn't want to go a really dark place with her bending, so that's kind of where her soul, we're kind of fighting for Katara's soul, which obviously is going to go a really big, memorable place later. So Katara, she's, Katara figures it out. She has her big Scooby-Doo, her big Velma moment here. We're like, wait a minute. You put him in the mountain. This was all you. Oh, yeah. So let's
So
see.
then we get into the big finale of the episode where Katara is under control of the blood bending. It's impossible to fight your way out of my grip. I control every muscle, every vein in your body.
Perfect animation in that sound design. Again, you feel so bad for Katara, but also I love the good moral of the story here. The Hama says you should have stood up to me after you learned the technique.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I love that Katara is in that moral state that she does not want to learn the technique. She doesn't want to let the power corrupt her. She doesn't want to take it to it. She doesn't want to pervert her own form of bending. And it's like they left me to rot. That's where we get all the creepy Hama faces by. She's looking, and then they left me to rot. She gets really impassioned. We zoom in all these creepy faces. So Katara, she's traumatized into learning it through this sequence. That's how she mimics the same poses as later. So Hama, she's laughing it up, all crazy witch-like. It's like, oh my god, look how far gone she is. She's a nut. So Katara, she then absorbs the moon here. She kind of breaks the control of these in her own water bending to combat the other space. So she can't be blood bended at the moment. My bending is more powerful than yours, Hama. Because again, Katara does have years on Hama. She's learned a few tricks, and she's learned from Hama outside the blood bending. So she's got a good chance this fight. So they battle it out. Avatar. What can we say? They have amazing fight choreography and bending.
It's great.
I mean, what can we do? So they're doing it. They're doing it to each other. Hama is like, I love this bit where she's destroying trees behind her, like breaking them to absorb the water. It's like, oh man, it's awesome. Katara, this move really is awesome because Hama is doing some really bad stuff. It's just like so satisfying to get to see her hit like this. Katara blasts the water back at her, then spins it. Uses this turn move. Basically uses it to spin Hama off her feet and on her butt, which is awesome. It's like, yeah, take that old lady down. She's been doing some nasty stuff. Yeah. So then Aang and Sokka show up, and then we have the great line from Hama. You're outnumbered, Hama. You've outnumbered yourselves. One of the great lines of the episode, because, oh god, they have Aang, run! Run, Aang!
Right.
Sokka unfortunately brought a sword to the party, which is the worst time he could bring a sword, because he's basically armed with a sword and a giant impaling object as he's being blood bended around. This feels weird. Aang has no idea what's going on. Katara's freezing in the trees, and Aang's, sorry, Aang, that's okay. So then we have the big moment. Tiki, you want to hit him? All right. So, anyway, so we have this big "don't hurt your friends, Katara, and don't let them hurt each other." So we have this big moment as they're charging towards each other, like, "Oh God, Aang's gonna be impaled! No, it's gonna be the end of the show. We gotta go to Korra early, so it's never gonna work." I'm kidding, but no, they almost gets impaled. It's big, in this moment again, kind of like the Avatar, stay with Aang. Kind of motivates her. She's like, no, and then just stops out of the blue, and we reveal Hama. Hama is now being bloodbended into submission, into a surrendering pose by Katara. My God, man, this is a big moment. It's just this to see Katara bloodbend Hama like this. I'm sorry, just seeing the terror on Katara's face after what's about to happen. So Hama surrenders. She's captured, and they say, "We're going to lock you away forever," which is the worst, is a fate worse than death for her. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be locked away forever, and then Hama, she ain't bothered by this, Tiki. Why ain't she bothered by this?
Because my work here is done. Congratulations, Katara. You're a bloodbender.
And then we have the money showers. This breaks your heart. Just Katara crying in horror on the ground. It's like this. It's not a happy ending. She stopped the bad guy, but she had to kind of corrupt her soul a little bit to save her friends, to save Aang and Sokka. She had the blood bend.
Oh yeah.
And we end on the moon. We go completely full circle, man. Oh my God. That's
all right. So Dragon, just quickly go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just paranoid. So quickly rolling into my final thoughts here, Dragon. I really think this one's a masterpiece, man. I really do. I think it's one of the finest creepy episodes of a Nicktoon that Nickelodeon's ever done. I mean, just the atmosphere, kind of like the richness of the urban legend. Like you said, it's got kind of a very Miyazaki vibe to it. The animation is fantastic. I feel like the foreshadowing is just done fantastically well. Just overall, just an absolute home run.
Yeah, so final thoughts for me. Not just scary for scary's sake, but it's a haunting episode about the trauma of war. The trauma of like a POW. It's because she was a prisoner of war, and it kind of drove her nuts because she was taken from her people and all sorts. You feel a bit of sympathy for Hama, but she went too far with it. It's the conflict of seeking revenge and the corruption of power. Really big themes. Again, in that regards, it's kind of a masterpiece of an episode too. I concur. It's episode. It creates blood bending, which of course leads to some big stuff in Cord, to say the least. It's again, I love the climax so much with like the moral content of it. It's phenomenal stuff. It's phenomenal. It's memorable, and again, something it's a big pillar in the Avatar universe because of that. It's awesome.
All right, folks. That's the end of tonight's spooky selection. And our spirits grow weary. But they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
Hama.